see, we have an amazing team, and I know that the audience probably has a ton of questions for you guys, so I'm going to limit my questions for you, but I did want to say that part of the beauty of seeing this film for the first time in my office on my little computer was just the awe of sort of getting this close-up view of what it took to construct something that beautiful, that awe-inspiring. I mean, you really see, like when you go into an amazing, beautiful building and you see the most beautiful artwork on the ceiling, these masterpieces all over the world, you know, you don't really know what it took to create that and all the people involved and how it was done. And this film really shows you how it's done. And I have immense respect for everyone who's involved, and I'm so happy I got to see this. So what I wanted to ask all of you is, what was the most surprising or fascinating thing you learned while working on this project? And if we can start with Rick, and we'll go this way and then that way.
Oh, that's a tough one. The biggest surprise. Well, let me say this. Laura and I are educators. You know, and we don't like to think of ourselves as teachers. We like to think of ourselves as learners. And what we set out to do in these projects is to create what we call a dynamic learning environment. And so often, usually with our projects, we don't know anything about what we're doing either. So it's a very different kind of teaching model. So basically what we do is we learn by doing. We learn alongside everybody else. And so it makes an amazing learning journey. And so everybody contributes and everybody learns. And one of the discoveries I've made in my lifetime is that, and I've been teaching now since 1975, and so is that in most cases, I learn more from my students than I think they learn from me. I'll end with that.
We kind of came into this project blind or ignorant of the history of Jews in Poland. My father often describes it as the Jews left Egypt and then they settled in New York. And somewhere in the middle, somewhere near the end of that was the Holocaust. And so one thing we kind of came into was unknowing about the history of Jews in Poland before the Holocaust, that there was this 1,000 years of history that was tumultuous at times and cataclysmic at the end, but that there was this prosperous and energetic and fruitful and period of time when the Jews of Poland worked with Poles and worked with the neighboring countries and were happy and prosperous and created things like the synagogue, were amazing pieces of art.
Can you hear me? Okay. I hate to say it, but the surprise was that it all fit together. I mean, it shouldn't have been a surprise, but
it did take a lot of shims.
It took a lot of shims and a lot of other things. That when I say in there that I was afraid, that was very accurate. Very accurate. Afraid for the fact that it demanded that it work, and that it was up to us to see it, that happened. And I wasn't surprised, but I was very surprised. And I was also surprised at how it became alive when it came together. It was almost daunting. That I could feel it move away from my hands into the world's hands. It was quite profound. It's not, I mean, it is itself. So that surprise, I didn't expect. And what would you feel when you finally saw it? And you're an artist, you feel like, you know, well, this is my work. And this became something else. It's now the world's work.
My biggest surprise was that this thing even exists and that it has a space to exist in. I came into the project making, they didn't really show it, but there was an entire half-scale replica of all the paintings made before the one that's in the museum now, and it's just incredible that it even turned into anything. I mean, I believed it would happen, I guess, but it really did, so.
I think one of the most spectacular and inspiring things about this whole project was everybody played their own small role, and a lot of volunteers, all they contributed to the entire ceiling was one small flower. But what was really amazing was looking at the entire thing together and working on the install, and now it resides in a museum, and it's the collective efforts of a lot of people. And you know, through everybody's small contribution, you have this amazing thing that exists now, and it is really a testimony to the positive impact you can have when you work together.
And I think the audience would probably be very interested to hear the unique story of how the direct. I'm sorry, what?
Surprise, Carrie, surprise.
You're not gonna let me get away with it,
I get it.
So Rick and Laura say, we're not Jewish, we're not Polish. I am Jewish, I am Polish.